welcome to Entitled, where we talk to real estate practitioners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders in the real estate industry. I'm Bernie Espinosa, along with my co-host,
David Bellinger. Hey, everyone.
Yes, and he's on how many Red Bulls now?
I'm still on my original.
Okay,
I'm
good.
No hot laps around the building yet.
Not yet. Welcome to Entitled, where we like to have fun with the name of our podcast, because David and I both work in the title industry, and we like to call ourselves seasoned. We've been in it for a minute.
Yeah.
So welcome to Entitled. And we're doing a continuation of our conversation with Fred Delgado, who's the founder and owner of TruCore Agency. And really, thank you so much, because I know we're taking quite a bit of your time today.
It's all good.
But we love you. And we can't not have some special time for some of your, what I call special skills, like you're so good at. And we're going to really talk about personalities, the DISC, the importance of that, and the merits of it, really, for how you've leveraged it personally in your business, and the importance of that in terms of, I think it's been a big contributor to your success.
Very
you coach
true.
with it, and you teach classes on it.
Absolutely.
And so the DISC also has different legs. It's connected to other parts of the business too, for personalities, disciplines, and motivation, how you talk to people, the coaching, the mindset. So
very true.
So thank you for joining us for part
My pleasure.
two.
And
Yeah.
if you haven't watched part one, go back and watch part one, because Fred touches on a lot of it, how it affected directly in his business.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that for David and I too, especially interested, because we're leaders in our company as well, right? And I think that emotions can carry you sometimes, and instinct can carry you sometimes, but to be able to balance that out with understanding the person across from you is magic.
It is. That's the key. So thank you for that introduction, and it's glad to be here.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about DISC. Can we do that? Let's
Yes.
dive in. So I've heard people talk about it, and they just zone out, because I think overall in the last few years it's become something extremely complex the way it's been taught, when it's actually a very simple process and method. One thing to keep in mind, DISC does not evaluate intelligence, any emotional intelligence either. So it does not measure IQ. It's just personality.
Right.
And I think for me, honestly, when I teach this class, people tell me, why didn't they teach this in high school? Why didn't they teach me this in college? And so when I first learned it, actually it was around 2006, 2007, and it was a major eye-opener for me. Ever since, I've been teaching it, and people give me the same feedback, that it's like it was a changer for their relationship, either with their children, their coworkers, with their spouses, any relationship in general. So
It applies to everything.
it applies to
Yes.
it all. It's the way we communicate.
And I love that you mentioned DISC is different than EQ. It's different than IQ. And I agree with you. When I do a lot on emotional intelligence, and there's a complement to the DISC and the EQ, and EQ. And same thing. It's like, why didn't I learn about this in school, right? Explain what DISC stands for.
So it's the DISC, dominance. And it's just what it's called. However, it's an influencer, a controller, a socializer, a stabilizer. So let me go back a little bit. So when we talk about DISC, I'm going to take it back even way before. Everybody in general there's 4 quadrants that we all fit in, and we can measure it in 4 levels. All of us have all 4 parts of DISC. DISC is more of a dominant aspect. The I is the influencer. The S is a stabilizer, and the C is the controller. We're going to define what those are in a second. However, all of us have them, and they all come up at different times, depending on where we are and what we do. However, 2 of those are the dominant ones for each and every one of us. One's the top, one is the second, and then the other 2 will follow. In general, when we talk about the first 2, that is usually how you behave and how you want to be spoken to. When I teach my class, I let people know you are your own, and we're going to define what your DISC is, what your level of who you are. However, if you want to connect, build rapport immediately with somebody, you have to mimic them. You have to be who they are. You have to connect with them. In general, we have seconds to be able to connect with somebody. I'm in sales, and probably many of the people watching this are in sales as well. You have seconds to create a connection with an individual.
Yeah.
You can either take them in, or they're going to reject you right away. So the key is, basically, once you know who they are, you can define the DISC profile on someone the second you see them. For me, I define it the moment they drive in the parking lot. by
wow.
what they drive.
By what they drive.
Wow.
Yeah.
By what they drive.
I knew
Now
you were
I
going to
really
say
know.
that.
Now I really want to know what Fred thinks mine is.
So in general, as people drive in, or if you meet someone in the lobby, by what they're wearing, or how their hair is,
You're
or how
so
their makeup.
judgy.
You
No,
know,
just kidding.
It's not a judgment.
You're
it's
disking
just
me.
a
You're disking
profile.
me right now.
You're
I can
disking
feel
me.
it.
So here's what I see. And statistically, with my engineering
We're
background,
so easy. We're
they
so
are.
easy.
They are. They are.
Yeah,
You are.
Captain Obvious.
So, did you know that 5% of the population is a D? And people say, why is that? What does that mean? In general, the D personality, which is, we'll call it dominant, these are the CEOs of a company. These are your drivers.
Yep.
These are your, if you want to use a negative connotation, your dictators. These are the
Yeah.
ones that rule, the force, the visionary, the results-driven individuals. These are people that sometimes people mistake them for not having emotions.
Yeah.
Because they're such drivers, and their job is to get results, no matter what. They'll go through a mountain, around a mountain, or over a mountain to make it
Yes.
happen, but there's no obstacle.
They're the first to launch, and
That is
when
exactly
they're driving,
right.
they're driving.
They are drivers.
It's
And
funny
so
you mentioned CEOs because statistically, CEOs also have the least level of EQ.
It's interesting. That is very.
But they didn't start off that way.
That's exactly right. You evolve into
evolve
that as
into
well.
that.
You evolve, and so when we're talking about CEOs, a CEO is driven by final product. Just make
Yeah,
it happen.
that's what they're responsible for.
Every company has a CFO, okay? They're completely, in general, they're very different roles, and there's a reason for that. Your CEO is a C personality. That is your accountant, your analytical person, your engineer. Anybody that deals with numbers, data, analysis, systems is a C personality. So a CEO can say, charge, let's go over this, to the other side of the mountain. And then your CEO is going to say, wait, how
Yeah.
are we going to do that?
Which route are we going to take?
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
How are we going to do it? What system's in place? Do we have a bridge? Do we need to build a bridge? So they're the ones that complement the CEO to make sure that the decisions that are so fast get paused slightly and the decisions are analyzed to make the right choice. The role in general of a CEO is they love to do analysis. They love to do homework, which is a C personality. They love to gather data.
The CFO?
The CEO.
Oh, the CEO,
loves
okay.
to gather data.
Okay.
So if you have a client, if you're in real estate,
Yeah,
and you
let's-
have a buyer that is a C personality, they're going to ask everything about the house, everything about the neighborhood, everything about the schools. They want data,
Details,
data,
details,
data.
details.
Details, every detail. And what's interesting, normally C personalities have already figured it out. They know the answers before they even ask them. So if you're in sales, if you're a realtor, and you have a C client, which we'll talk about later too, is be careful what you tell them because they already know the answer of what you're being asked. And if you give them the wrong answer, you lost them. They are about being right. The way to offend a C personality immediately is to tell them they're wrong.
Ooh.
You just lost them, just like that.
Which is kind of tacky anyway, right? I mean,
Well, they want to be, if you want to compliment them, tell them they're
tell
right.
them they're right. Yeah.
If you want to make sure a C personality feels important, tell them they're right. That's all they need to know.
Well, and so how common is that personality type?
That's also another very small percentage. That's about
Okay.
10%
Oh,
of
wow.
the population. That is a very small percent of the population that is also a C personality. So the purpose of a C is, every one of us needs them. They're the engineers that build the bridges, that build the structures that this building that we're
Yeah.
in. That's why it's holding together. An I personality, which is an influencer, which is an artist, which is a painter, which is a performer, would not have been the right person to build this building.
Right.
It's the right person to say it's pretty.
It would have looked pretty, but guess what? It wouldn't stand.
Yeah.
And so as an engineer, those are your C people. As an analytical, those are your accountants that put information together. So going back to the CEO and the CFO, the reason why they're combined is the CFO will put data together to present it to the CEO. A CEO just needs information. Give me the data.
Results.
Just give me.
Yeah.
You tell them information. With 20% of the information, they can make a decision. They're not the ones that are going to dig it,
Yep.
go search for it.
The analytics.
They're the ones that you deliver it to. They read it and they make the best decision based on data. So CEOs are perfect at reading data. Wall Street Journal, they give you information, data. They scan it, they can make a decision fast. However, someone else took the time to put all of that together. They didn't make a decision. There's someone else makes the decision. So
Interesting.
C's, their biggest challenge is to make a decision.
Oh,
They get a lot what we call analysis paralysis. Okay?
Yep.
So the reason why the CEO and the CFO work together is because they complement each other, where the CEO moves that CFO. And also the CFO provides the data for the CEO to make those decisions.
So if you have a couple, let's say a husband and wife, it's ideal for one.
It's ideal.
Yes, I was going to say.
It is ideal. And guess what? It's interesting because most couples, opposites attract.
Okay.
We as human beings are searching for the opposite of what we have. Now, when you find that people clash, is because they're the exact same quadrant, same exact normally. So when you have
Two Ds.
they
geez.
both.
That's a good time right there.
I mean, just it's. I'm right.
You're
It's
like,
my
"Let me
choice,
step
my
out of the
decision.
room."
Well, but also, what about the situation? The opposites attract, but those people are together so often, they start to.
That is true.
Is that you and
So-
Billy?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, for example.
I'm gonna call Billy later.
For example.
So remember, DISC is not emotional. DISC is just personality
Okay.
styles.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So the way to communicate, since we're on the D, the way to communicate with a D personality, they treasure efficiency.
Okay.
They treasure time. So if you're going to call a D personality, you don't go on and on and on for 3 minutes on a conversation. You lost them. You're done. You get to the point first and then explain later. They need the results right then and there.
They need the end of the story first.
First, they need the end of the
Yeah.
plot.
They need I love that.
I need a car.
Short
Here's
story.
why.
Yeah. It's funny because, a lot of times on the sales side, we talk about, depending on the type of agent you're in front of, they want to know the result of something before we get into the feature benefit of a platform, right? And then sometimes you meet with somebody who needs to know the feature benefit piece of it, like the origin of it and all the workings before they're really. So this is, it feeds right into that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the D personality, you can tell also by the colors that they wear. Okay.
Oh, boy.
A D
boy.
personality normally does not like to be flashy.
Right.
They're not. They're not to be noticed. They are polished. They usually drive a high-end vehicle of whatever brand there is, the high end of that brand, and usually their colors of their vehicles are black. gray, or
Yep.
white,
Yep.
or tan.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a green, not a
Not a
yellow,
red.
not a red, not a Mustang, not a convertible. They usually are conservative. They don't want to be seen. They want to go under the radar, but they are extremely polished and secure. So when they wear clothes, they wear blacks, they wear grays, they wear whites because they're just neutral. Anything that's neutral, and they never show off a lot of body. Okay, they don't wear a lot of jewelry. They're not people out there that look at me, I'm right here.
Yeah.
See me, notice me.
Yeah.
You usually don't notice them. You notice them based on posture. They walk in and they have a presence.
It's one of the. I was just about to
They have a
say when somebody
presence.
commands a room, right?
It's a command. It's a presence.
Yeah.
That's how they command.
Not
So-
demands attention, but
No, yeah, it's exact. It doesn't ask
Yeah.
for it; it earns it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's earned.
That's
and so,
cool.
and so that's who the D's
The
are.
D.
Okay, they're driven to the point. Give me the answers. Give me the 20%. I don't need the other 80. I just need to know what.
Okay.
I don't need to know all the why. Just tell me what you need. So whenever you go speak to a D personality, don't go about, let me tell you the story about. No. When you start with I feel, you're out. When you start with I
Don't
think,
start with that on any.
you're out. Okay? So they like certainty. I know. Here's what it is. Not, I think it might be. Absolutely not. You just wasted that person's time, and waste of time is the
And they're
biggest
already-
challenge.
and they're already tuned out.
You don't waste a D personality's time.
Yeah.
You don't. That's it. So, kind of we understand D now? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the
Clearly, clearly understand the personality now.
Let's talk about the eyes. The eyes are your influencers. These are your artists, your performers. These are people that want to be noticed, want to be seen. They are critical in our environment because they create our music, they create our art, they create what's beautiful. They really give us what most of us crave. That's what they provide. Visually stimulating. You cannot have a party without an I personality in it. Otherwise, you're going to have a very boring
Otherwise,
party.
it's a book club.
It is a boring environment.
Yeah.
So
Or if it's all D's, it's only 5 minutes long.
it's 5 minutes and we're done.
Yeah.
You show up and let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Tell me what you need. Let's
Got my
go.
2 drinks.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Yeah.
Even if it's 2, maybe 1.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you the I personality usually is very lively, very inviting. They usually wear bright colors. They wear jewelry. They are vocal. They are emotional. And they speak in terms of, I think, they speak more of the inside than what's really a fact in general. Factual, okay? So the way that you make an I feel wonderful is you talk about them, okay?
Great.
You make it all about them.
That's so funny.
If you're selling a house to an I, is I's treasure. Okay, if you're on Facebook or Insta or whatever, people that are I's have thousands of followers. How many do they know? A few, but they have many, 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 many. They find personal value in the number of quantity of friends that they have on social media. The more likes, the better they feel. And in general, they love to be around people. The D's do not. The D's love solitude. They want to be quiet, think, be with themselves, private. The I's love to network, love to be around other people, love to make others happy and fun and exciting. The word fun for an I is the best word you can use as well.
It's a really good F word.
It's a good F word. So
Look at this interest rate. It'll be so much fun when you get it, right?
So if you are buying a house or you're selling a house to an I personality, it's about the number of people they can have over, the parties they could have, the entertainment they could do. Okay. When it comes to selling a house to a D, don't sell it. They know the moment they drive up if it's their house or not.
Yeah.
Do not push it. They don't want to be sold. They know, and they know it well. So D's are the easiest persons or people to sell a house. As you drive up to the front of the
know.
house,
Yeah.
done. Let's
Yeah.
go. Move on. An I, they need to go in and see what colors, what's fun. The key for them is how many people can I hold in here that I could have so much fun with
Yeah.
and entertain. So that's the I. And the worst, the way to hurt an I is to delete them in social media, ignore them, or tell them something about them that you don't like because they treasure who they are and they want to be loved. So that's the I personality. Let's talk about the S now, okay? Oh, by the way, I's, their homes are gorgeous, beautiful. They are about making it look fantastic. The D's are very serious, stoic, just serious homes. Now, let's
You're
talk
painting
about.
with a broad paintbrush.
So this is
He just said
personality.
serious home.
So when it comes to an S, these are your stable individuals. We call them your
Harmony.
nurses,
They love harmony.
your teachers, your doctors, anybody that your home care people, your caretakers. S's are people that take care of us. S's are okay, so if I see, before we move on, let's go back to the I. What does an I drive? A colorful car. If you see a convertible Mustang, bright color,
Probably
definitely an I. Definitely an I. Remember, we have 2 top quadrants, so you can mix both of them. It could be an ID, whatever it may
Yeah.
be. But in general, an I wants to be seen driving down the street. You notice them, okay? It's a car that commands attention. Now, for the S's, these are, if you see, these are your soccer moms, okay? If you have a van, an SUV that carries these kids to school, or the family member that goes and picks up all the other kids to take them all to school, that's an S. How do S's dress? They don't care about how they look. They care about comfort. Okay, it's about security. It's about comfort. It's about feeling good. It's about being able to do a lot for others without really taking care of me. Doesn't mean that they're frumpy. I don't mean
Right.
that they don't take care of themselves, but they're more about comfort than they are about image. Okay, so what would they drive? Also, they don't want to cause attention, but they want to make sure that they're able to put people in there so that they can help them.
Yeah.
So normally it's a 4-door, it's a
Yeah.
van, it's an SUV, it's
So funny.
It's a car that is usually
More
very
conservative.
reliable,
Yeah.
very
I'm
conservative.
going to be judging so many people at the next stoplight.
They're
It's
like,
not even going to
the
be funny.
person
I'm going
in
to
it-
look over. I'm like, you're an S.
Yeah, Subaru next to me, like
But you know what? If it weren't for S's, we would not be a healthy culture.
Right.
They keep us secure. They keep us safe. They keep us healthy. They take care of us. They take care of our kids.
I feel like too in business that the S will sacrifice their own performance, their own accomplishments to please or make sure people are okay.
S's care about everybody else
Yes.
but themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the downfall. No, sorry. That's the downfall, not the downfall, but the thing that I think S's can be worn down because there's so much about taking care of everybody else.
Yeah.
And the more they'll pick up every pet down the street. They'll take care of pets. They'll take care of people. They'll take care of everyone. They're our saviors. And they are wonderful people that, and by the way, population-wise, that's about 35% of our people.
Wow.
So that's a large percentage that are out there supporting us, making sure they take care of everybody else.
And
so
you said D's are about 5%.
5%.
C.
The C's are about 15.
15,
Mhm,
okay.
10 to 15.
And then I is
And,
largest.
The I is large, okay?
Yeah.
The I is not the largest, but it's also large. So we have 50, almost 30 as well of the I's. I people, I mean, that's why you have all these clubs full all the time. That's why there's so much entertainment everywhere.
Yeah.
Because
But-
that's a large population that needs to be entertained.
Yeah. Well, it creates a great economy. I mean,
It
people are
really
spending.
does.
People
If it
spend the
wasn't,
money. Yeah.
so here's, and I'm glad you
Eyes.
mentioned,
So you said I's have the biggest percentage.
it's one of the
Yeah.
largest. It's
So-
between
But-
the S's and the I's.
But I also think it's the highest blend.
It is.
Yes,
It is.
because I'm ID is almost even.
It's for some people, it is very close. That is, if you're in sales, that's the best profile to have.
Yeah.
Okay. I, because you influence, you meet, you network, you connect. D, you close.
Yeah,
The way it works.
that's the way it works.
That's the way it works. It doesn't mean
my
that the
favorite
rest of
emoji.
us. It doesn't mean that the rest of us can't do it. It just
Yeah.
because all of us have all quadrants. David, you
Yeah.
have I. David, you have S. You have D. You have C. We all have them,
Yeah.
and we just raise them when we
Right.
need to.
Yeah,
Here's-
I love you sharing this because I think that probably a lot of people have done the disc, or if they have not, when you get that result chart, the way that that is squiggled together,
We're like, oh,
that creates even another level of percentage, right?
Right.
What percentage of people have your diagram,
right.
You know, or
We'll call it
whatnot.
that.
Yeah.
Your lever.
But I love this breakdown because you're really there's a lot you can read on each one of the letters, but how you're sharing it makes, like to David's point, like
I can go to a stoplight
Yeah.
now and judge everybody.
Yeah.
Here's what I say. We're generalizing right now.
Yeah.
There's always,
Yeah.
someone that doesn't fit in that profile, which is perfectly fine. But I'm talking generally. Generally, when it comes to eyes, they're critical for our economy. One, because they're great salespeople. And two, because they're great spenders. Okay? They are wonderful individuals that can keep things moving. They're the ones that create the events, the that organize the concerts, that organize the restaurants wouldn't be humming if we wouldn't have I's. But also the D's, let me take it back.
That's why you have a chef and a restaurant owner.
Every one of them plays a significant role. Okay, what do you think a wait staff would be?
An I
And
and a S.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, how much of that would be on purpose, though?
What do
That's
you
always
mean?
my question. Right?
What do you mean?
Does someone become better at waitstaff because they purposely try to take on those traits?
So here's what
Or
I'll
if they
Well,
don't
I bet you-
organically have them,
They work at it, and they may or may not like their job as much.
Exactly.
Right?
So here's what I'll share. All of our your quadrants may change over time.
Yep. Yep.
They do.
Yep, they absolutely do.
They change over time. So as you create more wisdom, as you experience life,
buy a
things
red
change.
car.
Well, so
You
when
do
I
change.
when I first did my disc was like in the I want to say 06, 07. I was all I and everything just dropped to the bottom. It was I and then D and then S and then C.
and probably your D then went up
My
significantly.
D and my I are almost even now.
Why? Because you've been working in an environment that requires that, and you had to train it
Yep.
and use it, and
Yep.
so
and I had to make money.
Right. So,
I have to
for me, you know, I'll share with you. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
You know, for me, when I was in high school, my I was really high, and that is now one of my lowest. And honestly, because when I went to corporate, and I was a vice president of operations, my D had to be
Yep.
significantly raised, and I did that for 15
Right.
years. My C had to be raised because I had to take care of numbers,
Yep.
data, systems. So over the years, that became so high that it stayed high.
Yeah.
Now, if
Well,
you
our
want to,
experiences in areas of study are going to affect how that turns out.
absolutely,
Yeah.
and but also who you are directs you to your study. I knew early on that I liked numbers. I learned early on that I liked science. I learned early on that intrigued me. So guess what? Let me be an engineer. And guess what? That developed that even more
Yeah.
and it raised it even higher. So back to the C personality, you know, when we talk about, we were in the I, you know.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the I's are sick. Okay, and I think we did share when we talk about selling to an I that it's about their stuff. We talked about the S's, back to the S's. When we are trying to sell a home or when we're working on selling a house to an S, it's about how they can take care of others, how they can host and take care of people. So most S's don't want to entertain. They want to have maybe a home for take care of mom or grandma or kids or adopt or whatever. Those are your S's that are there, that they're looking at the layout of the house as to how
many dogs they can foster.
can I foster dogs or cats. Again, this isn't bad. It's just who we are
Yeah.
and what we need.
Yeah.
And then so S's also have a really tough time making a decision.
Yep.
Okay. Very tough time.
Yep.
They will ask, they don't want to hurt feelings. They do
Yep.
not want to hurt your feelings whatsoever. So they do not like confrontation. A D loves confrontation. An S, that's the fastest way to scare them. So when you communicate with a D, get to the point fast. When you communicate with an I, it's about them. When you communicate with an S, it's about how they feel. Tell me what you need. Tell me how you feel. And they will speak in forms of feeling. If you get an email from an S, it's going to be long, and it's about how they feel.
Yep.
When you get an email from an I, it's going to be all about them. All about them. When you get an email from a D, just to the point. Yes, no, tell me, got it. Okay, that's the D's.
Yeah.
Okay? Tell me more. That's it. But when you're dealing with an S, you have to understand that now it's not about numbers. It's not about to the point or making a result. It's about taking care of them. What do they need to help others? And if you recognize that it's about them to help others, and it's okay, they're going to take their time because they can't make a decision, so you have to guide them gently. Don't push. Don't be loud because that scares them. So then you will have a great client. Now let's talk about the C. The C is those of us that are in real estate. Those are the most challenging clients And I say challenging not because they're bad people, just because they need to know everything and they need to see everything. If there's 25,000 homes in the market, they want to see all 25,000 of them, and then they want to wait to see if more come on the market later. Okay, that's
Those
how
are
they
the same
function.
clients that are signing with us that are reading every single page,
Every page,
little
and
word,
they won't sign until they read it all
and understand it.
and understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, a C needs to understand the process first, how it's going to flow. Tell me what it's going to be like. Let's do it. Tell me what I did and tell me why. Okay, it's all about the systems. So if you go with a C and say, let's go look at a house now. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's the flow? They're about flow charts, diagrams. You're going to diagram it. You're going to write it. They're visual. You have to understand it. If you don't approach them in a way that they understand, you lost them. So keep in mind, if you're in sales, even though you know your two top quadrants, to be able to be a successful salesman, you have to match and meet everyone you meet at their
Absolutely.
quadrant.
Yep.
Okay? If you don't, you have seconds to build that rapport. After that, you can then eventually, when you build that relationship, you'll go to who you are and they'll go to who they are. But at the beginning, you have to meet them at theirs. If you're dealing with a D, get to the point. Don't tell a story.
But meet them authentically.
Authentically.
Yes.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
you can't put a mask on and pretend to be
They'll
something that you're
know,
not.
they'll
right?
see it. They'll
Yeah,
see it.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's important to know. For me, that was critical in my success. Once I understood that a C, I needed to feed them information right away and never talk about emotions, only data. Never say, oh, you're going to love this house, because I don't know that, and they know that I don't know that, and they know that they don't know that.
Right.
I lost them because lose credibility immediately.
Yeah.
They're about being right. And the moment you are wrong, you lose them. And if you don't know, it's better to not know than to tell them something that is not right.
Right.
Most of the time when they're asking you something, they already know the answer. They want to know if you know it.
That's right.
Because C's know everything. C's
I
know
love
it all.
it.
Okay?
I feel like this has been such a fast track. How often do you get to share your knowledge on the disc? What are some of the results you've seen from it in terms of people you've coached or for your team? Like, how do we see this live out? What are those result metrics look like? I mean, is that not a D question or what?
I love it. I love it. It's fantastic. So I've been teaching classes, and the feedback I get in general is it changed their relationship with their husband.
Their
or
personal relationships. Yeah.
relationships.
Same thing when I do the EQ class.
So
Everybody's like, it
keep
affects
in
my whole
mind-
life.
Yeah, keep in mind, we have kids. Those kids are different. Even though they're raised in the same household, they also have different styles. And parents try to communicate the same way with all of them.
Doesn't work.
That does not work. And that's when I get people saying, why did anybody tell me this before? So you'll have a kid that needs information. Why? Because they don't understand that. And then you have others that, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. So as long as you understand the quadrants of those children, if one of them needs detail, give them the detail
Yeah.
right away, and they're happy.
Well, I grew up in a house where it was "I told you so," because I said so, because I said so, because our parents, my
Right, that's
generation,
right,
they were
that's
just
right.
like, because
I
I, said so.
understand.
There
Yeah.
was no questioning.
There was no questioning.
There were no questions.
Now today is like, home life is
You
like
wanna
an ABC
communicate.
after school special. So yeah, we got to communicate appropriately.
It's communicate. So the way, if you want to communicate, you don't just communicate generalities to the entire family. If you want to truly communicate, know your children, know your husband or your wife, know your family members, extended family members, and speak to them that way. Guess what? It is a breakthrough, and you have just solved yourself
Yeah.
a lot of heartache, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of drama, because that's not even necessary. Example for my team, you ask about how it's worked. My team has been trained on this, and even them, like it was
So you disc everybody when they come on board.
When they come on board,
no matter
we know
what
who
their
they
They
are.
role
diss
is.
them
Yep.
within 2 seconds of meeting them,
And even
remember?
so, and
No,
yes,
but I'm just
and
saying,
not only
like,
that,
maybe he does it like formally.
Yeah.
and not only
Yeah.
that, I teach them DISC so that they understand each other
And who they're dealing
and
with.
what ended up happening this last time, because they've been through the class, some of them twice. The second time, they were even like, the first time I learned a lot. The second time I got it because I'm living it. I have a team member that said, I used to get upset because I used to get an email that said yes or no or just to the point, when I'm like, that person doesn't care for me. That person, and now I'm like, That's how that person communicates. And he goes, and I've been wasting my time sending this very lengthy emails asking for validation or whatever it may
We have a
be when it
couple.
wasn't even necessary.
Yeah.
So when the employees, the team members figured that out, it's like, why have I been upset over things that weren't even real?
It's a big aha. And then let's just add another layer to it, is that we create tone, we create intention by what we receive. And sometimes to me, email over the years, I'm just like, I don't attach any of that to it because I know that everybody's moving at a different rate of speed at any given moment in time, right?
You're
so,
right. You're
but,
right.
yeah, I get that. Like, I think there was a time in my career where if my boss sent me an email, the response was just yes, I'd be like, oh my God, I must be in trouble. They must be mad at me. Did I do something wrong?
And that's exactly right.
But there's a maturity that happens. And also, if we all had DISC,
You would have
out
saved
the
yourself a
womb.
lot of emotion.
right?
Oh, and disc isn't new, right? In the last 20
It's
years,
been around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I've done it, at a previous company, a top 100 Fortune company before this career, did it. Whole different type of presentation, right? In that corporate environment. And then we've had a couple within
Yeah.
our, career.
Leadership.
Actually, one recently a couple years
Yeah.
ago from a national coach. But the way you just explained it, again, maybe that's because
Yeah.
that's my personality type. I relate to it more because I feel better that I don't have to waste time thinking about it. I can just look at something and guess what they are.
Yeah.
Right.
Or be close.
I do the walking study as well when I meet people, like have this idea of where they're at. You're really, really good at it. But it's hard to remember that at every moment in every exchange. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
yes.
every time, when we're in a sales meeting, I mean, really honestly, I'll be like, you see everybody's disc immediately.
Yep,
But
yep.
when you're in it, we work on it and then we work in it. Sometimes when we're working in it, it's easy to forget and you just go.
You're absolutely right. So
Yeah.
one of the things that as a leader one has to learn is you have to deliver the same message sometimes 3 or 4 different ways
Oh,
at
yeah.
the same time. You may be saying the same
Yep.
thing different ways because one person got it, the other two didn't.
Right.
If you switch it to
Oh, yeah.
their structure, their personality, they got
They
it.
get it.
So one of the habits I've developed is, and even I'm doing it now, I'll say the same thing and I'll go back and re-say it a different way because a person got it one way and the
Yeah.
others won't, and you have to say it a different way.
Yeah.
So it's important to recognize that if it's one-on-one, you automatically know. When you're
Right.
around multiple people and you're presenting, you have to make sure that you deliver for others. So when you go to let's say an event and there's a presentation, they know this. They'll say, this is our agenda for today. This is what we're going to talk about. And then they do it. This is what we covered.
Yeah.
They're covering their
Tell
C's.
them what you're going to tell
Mhm.
them,
And
tell
you
them, and then tell them you told them.
they're covering their
Yeah.
C people.
Yeah.
They're making
Yeah.
sure that they covered everybody versus just speaking
Yeah.
and then being lost at the beginning. Going back to the C personality, they're all about efficiency. They're all about preciseness. They're all about, they don't want to be seen either. They're very private. They're very conservative. So if they want to buy a car, they're going to do that homework. Consumer reports, they're going to read every page. They're going to do their homework on every vehicle of what they're looking for. And most of them drive a very highly efficient, great rating vehicle. It's not about how it looks, it's about what it provides. How safe, what gas mileage, the breakdown history, any issues, any recalls. They know all about the car. So if you're seeing somebody driving a hybrid, Prism or something like that, that's a C. Okay, when the car, just when I talk about when they drive up, if it's a Toyota, not a high-end Toyota, let's say, what is the high-end Toyota? But
Lexus.
Not a Lexus, but a Camry, or if it's a Camry, that's an S.
Yeah.
4-door.
Yeah.
S. If it's people, it's comfortable, it's reliable. If it's a hybrid, small car, very reliable, very efficient, that's a C. Okay? So you can tell, and by the way, all car makers make cars for every
personality
quadrant
type, yeah.
type. Okay?
Absolutely.
A Hummer is not a C personality vehicle. That is not, and I'm not sure if people know what a Hummer is, but that's a gas guzzler.
Yeah.
Just attention getter. That's just
Flash.
It's flash. Okay. So when you see people that are driving, and the safest one to use is a Honda. Honda is more of a C personality vehicle. If you drive a Mustang, hot rod, or a Corvette, or a Ferrari, as you mentioned before, though a Ferrari, that's a big I.
Yeah.
That's a very high I car. So you can tell by them driving, and then when they get out of the car, if it's see me, notice me, or if it's don't look at me, I'm conservative, or I'm comfortable, you can tell immediately
see what the grade.
what they are.
Yeah.
And when they come in individually, communicate to that one style, you made a connection immediately. If you get an email that is long, and my personality is a D, and I respond yes or no, I lost them. I have to respond initially the way that initial email came through, because I'm mimicking who they are. After a while, they're going to know me. They're going to understand me, and we're going to have the relationship. Me answering yes or no is going to be okay. However, if you get an email that's to the point, I need a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house right now. That's a D.
Yeah.
Respond, okay, I'll meet you tomorrow. Instead of,
Even though there's a whole bunch of information you still need.
that's the meeting.
Yeah.
You're going to get together. Instead of, I think you're going to love this. The moment you respond, I think you're going to love this area, you're out.
Yeah.
They're telling you
So
what they
good.
want.
Straight and to the point.
So
To the
good.
point. If
Yeah.
you get a S personality that says, I'm going to take care of mom and my sister, and I need a home that delivers this. Oh, I'm glad you're taking care of your mom and your sister. Let's find you a home that does that. You'll take great care of them. So respond the same way. Again, the way to capture your client is to respond immediately how they're coming to you. If the voicemail is long, return a long voicemail. If a voicemail that you received is short,
It's going to be tough for
return
me.
a short voicemail. It's at the initial, at the beginning.
I do believe that. I believe
At the
that
beginning.
too. Yeah, for sure.
Because you can't be, that's not going to be you long
You
term.
have to, we used to call it mirroring, but that's no longer thought of as a great way to, because I think sometimes it could feel inauthentic.
It's almost unreal.
Yeah, but it's a form of that, right? It's about being aware. It's about being aware, understanding, accepting, and then trying to show up for somebody in a way in which you can connect. Yeah. So I love how I've been through so many DISC conversations, classes, and how you share the profiles just creates a visual as opposed to reading text and descriptions.
It's relatable, yeah.
It's so much,
Is it?
yeah. So we need to have you come and we'll set up something for you to do some
Oh, I would
training.
love that.
Yeah.
I would love that.
And by the way, you're available for training too. You said you're certified in that.
We certainly are.
Yeah.
We can teach a class in any brokerage, any location.
I love it.
So we will be happy to teach it. If my advice to real estate individuals, disc your team, put them in the roles that they fit best. Do not put an I personality being your transaction coordinator. Okay?
Words of wisdom.
You act like that's been done before.
I've seen it. Do not put your C.
See knit.
Yes, don't put.
Because people find someone they like and they're like,
I
be
love
my
them. They're so much
transaction
fun.
coordinator.
They're so much fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No I's are
No-
transaction. No I's are TCs.
no I's or TCs. Or also, if your C person, they're not your salespeople in general.
No. Yeah, they're not.
They're not.
Yeah.
So and also if you need people in your team to serve a function, disc them so that they fit that role best.
When you're setting them up to succeed.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. What can happen is that if you put them in a role that they don't belong, they're going to be unhappy. They're going to hate their job. They want to put a fork in their eyes. That you have to make sure that they really
I
do.
say that quite often. That's awesome.
Seriously, you have to make sure that their role fits who they are,
Yeah.
and they will thrive. Not only
Yeah.
thrive, they will be phenomenal.
That's
and that's
awesome.
one of the things that I know. For example, I'm going to just use my team as example. I have Yolanda, who's my executive assistant. She's a very high S, high C. People call our office, want to talk to her, not to me. Because she is so caring, so loving. She's my front end.
She's so sweet.
So she takes care of the clients. She loves them. She loves
Love
them to
her.
death. And also she makes sure that every contract it's perfect and that everything gets done right. So that's my safeguard to make sure that our customers are loved and treasured and felt comfortable and
She's your
cared
hospitality
for.
front of
She
house.
truly is.
Yeah.
And also make sure that everything gets done right.
Yeah.
I'm on schedule. She keeps me on my toes. If I'm supposed to be at appointments, she makes sure that I'm at my appointment on time. So she's one of those individuals that does that. And then I have my marketing, who is a big I personality
Judy.
with also C. Judy. She loves fun.
I
She
told her
loves
you should have brought her
excitement.
today. She
She's
would've
out of
loved to
town,
hear.
otherwise she
Oh.
would have been here. But man, she is fun. She's exciting. She's caring. She adds color and flavor to our culture.
Very much.
And then I have Justin, who is my systems guy. And he loves what he does because he gets to implement and create a machine that delivers to Yolanda, to the sales force, to the property management team, and also to marketing what they need. All they got to do is, I need something that does this. He goes back, creates it.
Yeah.
There it is. And guess what? He is very good at what he does.
And
that
he's
it
happy
performs.
camper when
he
you do-
loves it.
yeah.
He loves it. So
Placed in the right role.
Yeah.
and I have my broker, who is a high C. She loves to sit there and review contracts and papers and analytical stuff. And she also does our accounting and the TruCore side. So if I had her in the front end customer service, that's
not gonna work.
who she is.
Yeah.
Okay. So make sure that you hire the right people for the right role so they can succeed.
Yeah. And let's start with self.
Absolutely.
Know who you are. Yeah.
And you know what? If you know who you are and you also know who they are and communicate to them and they learn who you are so they communicate to you, it
Yeah.
creates things super fast, super
I love
easy.
it. No, this has been a fantastic conversation. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
And
you,
if
Fred
everybody
Delgado.
doesn't take advantage of Fred doing this,
Yes.
I mean, come
Absolutely.
on.
Yeah, let's get the
Absolutely.
disc out of here.
Right. Yeah, right.
I love it.
All right.
It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you
awesome.
again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.